Good evening and welcome to the August 21st, 2025 Northampton County Council meeting. Mr. Warren, will you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Could we please have a moment of silence? And I would ask that tonight you remember Sister Virginia Longcope in your prayer. She was the founder of St. Stephen's Place in Bethlehem. She was a saint on this earth, and she saved a lot of lives of recovering men. And please, I know she's in heaven, but let's say hi. Thank you.
Lori,
Yes, sir.
before we get started, can I also offer something for somebody? I want to acknowledge the citizen, Fitzroy Nouveau. Yeah. Fitzroy Nouveau lives in an apartment across the street. And when he saw me take a header into one of our planters out there, he parked his car, came running across the street, and he helped me up, and he waited with me until Margaret got the car, and he helped me get in. He wouldn't accept anything. I didn't want to insult him, but I told him he's a beautiful person. So I want to say hear, hear to Fitzroy Nouveau.
Thank you. Ms. Shafnisky, will you call the roll?
Brown.
Here.
Mr. Giovanni.
Here.
Here.
Mr. Heckman.
Present.
Here. Mr. Kraft. Ms. Vorga-Hefner.
Yeah,
I
by
think I
phone.
heard him.
Yeah, I heard him.
Here.
All present but Mr. Brown.
I think he just walked in.
Oh, all present.
Could I please have a motion to approve the minutes of August 7th, 2025 meeting?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Next, we have courtesy of the floor. There are two people who are signed up this evening. When you come up, please state your name and the town that you're from, and you will get 5 minutes to speak. First, we have Trina Johnson Brady.
I have copies of what I will be saying today, and as well as an Exhibit E, which I will be referencing. My name is Trina Johnson Brady, and I represent the Wilson Borough and Wilson School District.
Thank you.
I'm here on behalf of Wilson Area Links Coalition for Families and Youth. Thank you for your leadership in guiding our county through the opioid crisis and for carefully stewarding the opioid settlement funds. Exhibit E, which is being passed out of the settlement funds, makes clear that funding evidence-based prevention programs in schools is a high priority abatement strategy. In Schedule B of the same document, Part 2 goes even further, explicitly calling for investment in anti-drug coalitions, coalition staffing and training, engaging nonprofits and faith communities, and funding school and community-based prevention and mental health supports. Our coalition has embraced this charge, using Communities That Care as a model, an evidence-based prevention framework with a proven track record of reducing youth substance use and related risks. Since 2001, we have built a strong partnership with the school district, faith communities, nonprofits, and families to create meaningful change in Wilson. Through the PCC SADER grant, which we were recently awarded, the coalition will deliver $150,000 in evidence-based substance use prevention programming in Wilson over the next 2 years at no cost to the county. These programs will be implemented in partnership with organizations such as Valley Youth House, Concern, and the Center for Humanistic Change. But I must be candid. We face a serious funding crisis. The SADER grant only reimburses 60% of the organization's single staff salary, benefits, and operations. That leaves us without the capacity to coordinate these programs, the very infrastructure that makes prevention possible. To continue this work, we urgently need gap funding to bridge us through early November, and then an ongoing commitment to cover 30 to 40% of salary and benefits to match the SADER grant. What we are asking for is less than half of the amount we are bringing into Wilson through prevention programs, an investment that ensures those dollars are put to use effectively. Without this support, all of the progress we've made since 2021 will come to a halt. The organization would be forced back to an all-volunteer model, ending the evidence-based prevention programming that has been proven effective. The urgency is real. Since 2019, poverty in our district has increased by 59%. And since 2021, parental attitudes favorable towards antisocial behavior on the Pennsylvania Youth Survey has risen by 7%. Risk factors that put our youth at risk for substance misuse, these are not statistics. They are warning signs from our community. By allocating opioid settlement funds to sustain our coalition, you would be directly aligning with the settlement's priorities, leveraging outside resources, and protecting the future of Wilson's young people. We respectfully ask you for your support. With your partnership, we can keep prevention alive, safeguard families, and stop the cycle of addiction before it starts. In addition to Exhibit E, I have also brought along letters that have been written and signed by a number of individuals in our community to the Honorable Austin Davis, Lieutenant Governor of Pennsylvania. These letters are asking for support to continue our coalition. We have one from Representative Freeman. Senator Lisa Boscola will be delivering these to the Lieutenant Governor and is also writing a letter. We have one from the Superintendent of the School District, from the Wilson Borough Police Chief, for the Borough of West Easton, Big Brothers Big Sisters, and Mary Muser Library, and a number of other local organizations. So thank you for your consideration. I appreciate the time.
Thank you. Next, we have Armando Moritz Chapaquillan.
Hi, everybody. Sorry to disappoint everybody who wanted me to come and talk about the Dixie Cup site. Unfortunately, I'm not here for what is, I would consider, a much happier occasion like that and discussing the intricacies of a TIF. But my name is Armando Moritz Pelican, Wilson Borough resident, 1945 Lehigh Street. I came tonight specifically because I wanted to support a friend, a colleague, and someone who I think has been a remarkable leader in our community. You just had a chance to hear from Trina, and I came specifically, typically, I come with a script, I come with all sorts of things to hand out. But today I'm kind of just speaking off the cuff because I will put it a little bit more bluntly than Trina did. The funding that the coalition needs right now is primarily to keep her job. She is a one-person show. She has been doing tremendous work in the Wilson Area School District. She mentioned a number of different statistics. I think the one that really jumped out to me was the increase in poverty, a 59% increase in poverty in the Wilson Area School District. And as somebody, as I mentioned before, who is going to now cross the threshold of just concerned community resident to being a parent of a child in that school district, this is really personal to me. That 59% is going to represent a good chunk of the classmates that my son is going to meet and make friends with over the next number of years in the Wilson Area School District. And I wanted to be here specifically to support Trina because I've seen the amount of work she has done in our community over the past 3 years. I've seen also and heard plenty of stories about how however well-intentioned Lynx and the coalition might have been prior to Trina coming on, an all-volunteer support model is insufficient for the need that Wilson Area School District has, and unfortunately would be insufficient for a lot of the coming challenges that a number of the statistics that Trina just shared are seeming to indicate. the rise in poverty, the rise in parental attitudes favorable towards antisocial behavior. These are all things that we have an opportunity to do something about now by investing and supporting a staff person and supporting an individual who, most importantly, is really just there to answer the phone and make the connections that are necessary to make sure that families are not going hungry, that students' needs are being met, that our community is going in the right direction. And that full-time investment is crucial for families like mine, for children like my son, particularly when you think about and consider the impact of events that she's coordinated, whether it's been our annual Touch a Truck, our Photos with Santa event, our family fun nights. My son has asked me, when can I do what Trina does? When can I host bingo nights or scavenger hunts at the high school? When can I make those connections with high school students? When can I plan those events? And again, the reason why I'm here is because I want to have an answer for him. I want him to know that he can do that he can learn from people like Trina, that he can have a mentor like her in our community. Because unfortunately, an all-volunteer structure is insufficient, like I said, for the needs that our community currently has and for what is, unfortunately, coming up ahead. So I encourage you all to follow up with me, follow up with Trina. Let's figure something out because, unfortunately, the clock is ticking. I joked before, September is tomorrow. And that is not just because of me feeling a lot of uncertainties in terms of my child getting older, but also because of the fact that we're really dealing with a very tight timeline in terms of how long Trina can stay with us. I want her to continue to be a positive influence in my son's life, in the lives of his friends that he's going to be making, and I hope that we can figure out something that we can do together to create some solutions for our district and for our community and for the county as a whole. Thank you very much.
Is there anyone else who wishes to speak to courtesy of the floor this evening? Thank you. Mr. McClure, do you have an executive report for us?
First, I wanted to respond to questions that were posed at previous meetings. Mr. Giovanni, could you, I have Mr. Weaver here about the fire school. Could you articulate for me, because it wasn't entirely clear to me, so when I communicated to him, what the question was that you had?
The question was, I got a call from an instructor at community college down at Fowler Center. They're doing the training for the EMS. And when she was scheduling fall classes, I'm assuming what she said, and you had an executive order, I think it's 24103, if I'm correct, for up to $65,000 for training for EMS. And she said she went to schedule those courses and there was no money or little money to continue for that training.
Okay. I think Mr. Weaver can give you an answer to that question that I wouldn't be able to give you.
No problem. I figured Todd would.
Good evening, Council. Particular to, it was an EMS class. I think we had a request for a EMR class, which is a lesser class than EMT. When I got the request, I asked the department to, hey, give me the month of June to figure out where it fits in the funding cycle because we have EMT program coming up. And we were able to successfully fund the class up to 14 positions. Right now it starts in September and there's only 3 people signed up for the class. But I can give an overview of how usually the class training requests come in. So the way it works is it works with 3 entities. The community college actually provides the instructors. We actually contract and pay the community college. The contract with the community college is a up to, not to exceed contract. That's so when we get requests from departments or agencies to do training, we can go ahead and do it without going through the purchasing process because there's an MOU and we have a price list and a menu that we work from. There's also criteria of looking at we need to have so many people in a class because we can't run a class if there's only 4 people and their skills and a group of them have to do. So we look at those minimums for that, particularly with the EMT program and the medical program. With EMT, we pay per student. Back in the day in 2012 when we did the program, they got a flat rate and it didn't matter how many people they trained. In 2014, we kind of transitioned over to model where we pay for the person, at least with EMT and also with the EMR class, that we pay per person. We kind of got a better bang for our buck. We knew that we're only, if 3 people went through the program, we were paying for them. What happened before is there were people taking the classes for college credits, and they weren't necessarily part of a response agency. So part of it is they have to be a member of a primary response agency in Northampton County where we will pay for that class. We haven't denied any EMT classes. Right now, I think we have a tentative of 6 new EMTs that are going to be taking the class in the fall, day and night session. And the EMR class that we have scheduled, we have 14. I know in that request, I talked to the chief, and he understood that we got to look at the budget because I got to keep within my budget confines. That's at least with the EMS part. We actually had to pull CPR classes away from the college, and we actually teach it in-house where we pay for the card and we supply the instructor. I'm an instructor. I have some other employees that are instructors where we'll actually either go out or we have them come to the center and we teach. That savings was phenomenal with what the college was charging for. I think it was, don't quote me, but it was just over $500 to train 5 people in CPR, and we kind of cut that in half and using our own staff. Plus, it gives them some face-to-face time with us. That is the medical MOU, and that's up to $65,000. That's not guaranteed to the college. It even says in the MOU the college just doesn't guarantee that they're the sole training facility. Just because we may have training opportunities through the task force or through other type of ETAs, Bucks Counties, or even Pike, or whoever else that can offer those trainings. The college prices haven't gone down over the years. They've actually increased. I think between 24 and 25, just in the fire programs, they went up 25%, which is hard. The way the fire program, that is a 3-legged kind of model. We use the community college that supplies the instructors and the support staff, and the fire school, we use the facilities and grounds, so we support them. So they all kind of work together in that schedule. If there's some kind of scheduling conflict, we'll talk to the chief to see what we can do and make those fire grounds available. But sometimes if we're doing a Fire 1 test, we can't run a structural burn or something like that. And those fundings have gone up. However, any class that's presented to us, we have not denied or not funded so far this year. I do have to look in the budget that I have approved to try to get it in there. Now, we do other things, like hazmat is our biggest bread and butter when it comes to teaching fire classes. And EMS is, we actually leverage the hazmat fund, the LAPC funds to pick up some of those costs. We apply for grants to offset that. So some years the grants are good, some years they're not, and the LAPC picks up more if I have to use some out of my general fund to do those hazmat classes. So we do apply for grants to help offset that. The one thing to remind the college is it's not an endless pool that we can just pay for anything that they want to request. Our thing is when we get a request for a course, we want it from the agency that wants it, not just because the college wants to schedule it, because that's like saying, you know, a landscaper comes and says your grass needs to be mowed and I'm the guy going to mow it. So we kind of manage it that way. So we have applied for grants. The other thing that I know is confusing somewhat with the instructors with the college, and I talked to Mr. Bernowski that runs their program, is they started, we were involved with, they do their public-private industry, and we were there speaking, and they kicked off their public-private partnership. Community college is trying to start a fund to help pay for or offset the rising costs of responder training. So it kind of got a little confusing when I talked to Mr. Bernowski that he's trying to get like the big names out there to donate money to go towards fire training because they need their services, you know, hopefully to keep their insurance premiums down. So that has caused some confusion. I had to put some clarification out. I mean, it's a great program. If it helps support and offset some of my general funds, then I'm all for it. So.
Yeah, I told the instructor to call you because
Yeah.
Todd would know.
I'm waiting.
And, yeah, well, I know how it is, Todd.
Yeah.
And I happened to talk to, last weekend, Lower Mount Bethel Fire Chief, and he was saying.
George Russo.
Yeah, and he was saying that he thought there was money there because they were having their practicing, their training in groups.
Yep.
So, you know, again, I was just looking for clarity.
That's
'cause-
fine, and that's why I would know that answer, and Mr. McClure has me here. We do try to manage the classes. If somebody just wants a class and there's a neighbor department have it, we try to partner them up because we're looking at, we'd like to get higher numbers in the class. Just like the fire program, we're kind of doing just a spring part of the program because we were trying to run 2. and the second one would get canceled, or there really wouldn't be enough. There'd be 8, there'd be 6, and it's hard to really run a fire program. So we're trying to really concentrate on the basic program in the spring, and then do a lot of those specialty programs in the fall as the request is. And depending on some of those classes, I can tell you that the final level 4 fire program in 2022 was only $5,000 for the program. Right now, it's $9,000, and that's only for one portion of the program. So costs are,
And
gotta balance them.
Yeah, and multiple municipalities can
Yes.
do it, put the
yes,
classes.
we make it, as long as we're running a class, it is free to any Northampton County emergency responder. And even once we're over the class minimum, if some other, from some other responder from other county, it has to be free for them as long as they're not displacing a Northampton County responder. So if we have 15 people and 2 people are coming from Lehigh and 1 from Monroe, we allow them to class because they kind of extend the same courtesy if somebody goes up to those fire schools. Because they do move around the fire schools because there's different instructors, different things that they learn from these different fire schools.
Yeah, and Lower Mount Bethel Fire Chief
Yes.
said the same. George
Yep.
said the same. I will have the municipalities that called me to call you.
Yeah.
I'll have them call you.
Yeah, or the
'cause
fire
you can
chief.
explain more of it to
When I
them.
did have the request, I was dealing with one of his members, and I actually called him direct to talk about it, and he was good with what the plan was. And I just asked for some time, just let me look at the budget to make sure we're not shorting out the EMT program at that point.
Thank you very much.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate it.
Have a good night, council.
Yep.
Go home, Todd. All right. So now I'm going to bring Mr. Barron up to discuss the changes to the room. I didn't want to work tonight,
So there was a letter sent by Mr. Spadoni about, what was spent on the room, where we were at on the room. So I pulled some of those invoices. To date, we've spent over $40,000 of general fund dollars to redo the room. I understand there was an echo under the dome here. I didn't design this room. We're doing the best we can with the echo. The final thing that needs to happen is that we are working on getting a Zoom client in place. Specifically, we want the Zoom client to match how you would see the meeting as you were listening and watching YouTube. If you remember back to COVID, one of the things we did was had council remote so we could properly social distance, and the administration socially distanced in this room, and we set up a computer here as a participant. One of the things that you will do once we get that worked out, and we hope to have it ready for the beginning of September, is to the first meetings in September, you will log into not calling on your phone. We will help you, whoever is going to be remote, use a Zoom client, and you will see the room in real time. We have to intercept the signal here at the room level. I can tell Mr. Heckman when he's on the phone is watching the meeting on YouTube, and he is participating in the meeting, and there is a delay. I can hear it I can hear it. The issue is when we had Silverlight, which was the way we broadcasted council meetings previously at the beginning of Mr. Brown's administration, you could get the meetings in real time, but people had trouble downloading, and then Microsoft stopped providing services to Silverlight. And so that program doesn't exist anymore. YouTube was the best option because it's so ubiquitous. Everybody gets on YouTube, they update their apps, they keep things going, but there is a natural delay to the broadcast. It is something we can't fix with whatever we do in this room. So what I need to have happen for county council is I need to get them participating in real time, meaning I need them to come in the beginning and be part of the broadcast that goes out to the web. That being said, we would end up having the meeting room and all of you here in the meeting room be one participant in the Zoom, along with anybody else who joins. That also would allow more than 2 or 3 people to actually come into the room if there was an issue or some members of county council couldn't make the meeting. I think we're limited to, 2 right now, Aileen? Is that correct? Or is there a limit anymore? I don't remember how many people who can take part remotely on the meetings. Yeah, I think there was when people call into the meeting, I think there's a limit to how many people we can put on the call. Yeah, I don't know. I know we've pushed the limits of that, and I want to make sure that we don't push those limits anymore. My hope is that we're going to be testing sometime this week. I had hoped during the EELU meeting to actually be on the Zoom as a council member, but being silent, so I could see how it interacted. But then I didn't want to mess with the broadcast of the Environmental, Energy, and Land Use Committee. So we decided against that. We're going to be running some tests, if not tomorrow, probably starting Monday and Tuesday, and then through the week. And Mr. Heckman, if you don't mind, one of the things I would like to do is have you available to log in, even if I have to drive to your house to do it, because, you know, we're neighbors. I could go to your house to make sure you could get on. Stop. So that we could get on, and then we could test it out back here on a non-council night, or on a non-council meeting. So we may do that. So we're working through a whole bunch of options, but we should have the first September meeting ready to go.
Madam President, can I ask Steve a question?
Yes.
All right, so I guess you're trying to maintain the ability to use YouTube, and in order to use YouTube, the delay is kind of, let me ask you, can we just post the video to YouTube after? Why do we have to have YouTube live stream? Why can't we focus on, since usually we always have somebody calling in, and that seems to be the priority, using a Zoom or a Teams for the live portion of the meeting, and then when the meeting's over, we post it to YouTube.
That is something to consider, but I will tell you, there are members of the public watching right now that really enjoy seeing the meeting live in real time.
And I fully appreciate that, but who does it matter more to it being live? Members of council who have to interact in those meetings, or people that can watch it after the fact, not having no bearing or input in those meetings?
I understand. I'm trying to make sure we can keep it live on YouTube so that we can maintain the open and transparency that people have come to expect from the government.
And Steve, I
And
love how good you are at this
I-
stuff, because
yeah.
you're technically savvy, but like,
Yeah.
honestly,
Yeah.
you are our financial guy. You don't need to be our tech wizard too. Like, I know this is possible. I just don't know if we need to rely on you to have to figure it out.
Well, no, I mean, I manage the IT department, and so it's not just me doing it every day. I have a lot of IT people that are working on it. And one of the things that, that has been a discussion. Do we post it later on, and how fast will it get posted?
Or can we keep the YouTube on the delay, but still, it's almost like we're in 1995, not 2015 or 2025, but like, we gotta be able to figure this out.
One of the things I'm going to do is make sure council members get in, that they can see the meeting as Mr. Heckman is seeing it, before it's not through the YouTube, because we have a console that actually pushes the broadcast to YouTube downstairs in the control center, or in the network room. So one of the things I hope to be able to do is to have that council member in on the Zoom. It can be controlled over here by Jen when she's, looking at it on her computer. And the other thing then is hopefully have all the integrations to be able to mute, unmute microphones if there's noises coming through. We had a problem yesterday. Miss Keegan didn't have her microphone on. We all could hear her in the room just fine, but Ron could not. So that way we can kind of be able to correct that live in real time as well. So I appreciate your comment, and I would be, happy to look into that. But I know you're going to get pushback from the public, so I'd prefer to burn every other route and then come back to you and say we can't do it. What would council like to do? And I'll let you know early in September if it can't be done, but I'm pretty certain it can be done.
Yeah, like, listen, I don't want the wish list getting bigger, but we got these screens in front of us. It'd be nice for those to, you got USB ports, webcam, they can see us, we can see them. It'd be real nice. Like, I do this every day with Teams meetings, and I understand the level of security we need to maintain, but I don't think we're asking for too much. And as far as if there's a public outcry, direct it towards me. But I think it's pretty important to be able to hear council members talking and be able to hear what they have to say.
Yeah, everybody can hear with the microphones that are on there as long as they are on. And that's why we gave the council clerks the ability to turn those microphones on so they broadcast to the web. This microphone now is permanent. It does not go off, so it picks up every sound in the room. Believe me, people have told me. There's a hot mic coming this way. So we just want to make sure that, we're getting the broadcast out there, that people can see it and interact with the meeting. And we want to make sure we have a specific way so that people are able to, on their devices, on their county computers. The other challenge we have in this room is used for a lot of other things other than county council. And one of the things I've been pushing my IT team to do is that pre-flight check before we take off on these meetings. Because the meeting is used for, the Revenue Appeals Board, it's used for the Election Commission and various other things. People, when they sit up at your desks, are mess with wires and turn things around, and sometimes it's not on purpose. It's just they're diddling with something on the dais. So we have to be better at doing that, and my team takes ownership for that when those things go wrong, because that is our fault. So what the Zoom feature is going to look like is actually it will look no different from anybody else. It will look no different to anybody else who's watching the meeting. Council will be on the Zoom, and when members of county council take part in the Zoom, their video feed will not be on the screen. But what they will see is they will see all of you like they were sitting in the room watching it on YouTube. They will hear it live in real time because they're on the Zoom, and then they'll be able to communicate with you without a delay. The other thing they'll be able to do is on the Zoom, there's the ability to raise their hand. They can do certain gestures there, which the council clerk can then alert the president and say, if Mr. Heckman or Mr. Goffredo are online, hey, Mr. Goffredo has his hand up, and Lori can address that when things are over, if your voice prompt doesn't come through. They can also unmute you if you're having a problem, or if there's background noise that you are not aware of, they can mute you here in the room so that it's not heard out on the broadcast. And where will they be seeing that? They will be seeing it. Oh, they will not be seeing it here in the room. It'll just be like the regular room here. You won't see that anywhere, but the person actively off-site will be able to see the room and be on the Zoom. No one else will see that. So we're trying to make the Zoom experience part of just the way a council member interacts with the meeting.
May I? Steve, Mrs. Barron. No, I'm not going to make any more jokes about tin cans and strings.
Okay.
That was a project in Cub Scouts, and I always enjoyed that project. But a question, sincere question. On some of I've mentioned other boards and authorities. One of the best of all, and I'm not. There's some real stinkers out there, but one of the best is the airport authority, and I mean, they would have they had their screens like here, and what would happen was, and you're right about YouTube. I mean, I thought it was 7. I timed it once. It's like a 10-second delay. So I have it on, but I try to turn the volume off. So I realize if Mr. McClure is at the podium and he is expounding on something that I'm watching the past. Okay, but anyway, they'll show individual screens. Well, on the big screen, there's individual screens from everybody who calls into that number. And they're simultaneously being involved in the meeting. If I say, excuse me, the chair hears it right away. And
that is the hope that we will have with this system, the using Zoom, utilizing Zoom.
Well, it's not so much for me anymore, but the thing is, have you gone? I mean, I would think it might be just helpful to visit the airport authority.
Yeah, they use an owl, is what it's called. The camera they use is an owl. Okay. So they put this camera in the middle of a table.
Yeah.
And then when the person is talking, what it does is it spins around and it shoots at that person. So it focuses on their video, and then it interacts with Zoom.
But the pictures are all, everybody's still up on the screen.
Correct. No, I know there's all still up on the screen. The problem with that, Mr. Heckman, is are they live streaming to YouTube?
Oh, I don't know what they're doing. I mean,
Yes.
but that's a public meeting too.
It is a public meeting, but it's with the live stream. So it's what you will see the pictures of the people.
Yeah.
And I can't have every individual person logging into a Zoom if they're in this room, because it would get too messy. But
All right.
one of the things I can do is have the room be itself a Zoom client with the people who are off-site logging in. You'll be able to see the room. Those people in the room here will probably not be able to see you. We may be able to work through that technology later, but the point is that you're hearing it in real time, and then it will be broadcast out to the web accordingly. But
All right,
they're not broadcasting to the web, because I know the system they're using.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Mr. Barron, we had an end date of June 2024 for this project by ordinance. We are a year and 2 months behind.
I
hear
apologize.
that you are saying first meeting in September. Is that potentially, or is that completely?
As long as all the tests go all right. The one thing I don't want to have you guys do is get up there and fail, and have somebody who's guaranteed or wanting to take part in the meeting off-site not be able to do so. So we have failed to launch on some of these, and we start and stop. That's the one thing that's outstanding from council's ordinance. And during the time we upgraded the room, we were waiting on all 38 or 39,000 of the invoice was from Blue Chip, the people who work in this room. And this room, when it was designed, is not an easy room to set up for the way council wants to use it today. The council members who built this room back in early 2000s weren't exactly thinking about utilizing the room the way you guys are utilizing it.
Understood. I just
So-
really would prefer the most accurate end date possible.
That
And I
is-
do understand that you are going to have to do some testing, but again, we're a year plus out, and I would like it sooner than later. And I understand you didn't make this circle, but there is an echo. So those are things that we could take care of down the road, but
Right.
if we could get to our next best possible user and then tweak after would be very helpful.
The only request that has not been met to date is the Zoom, and that has become challenging because of the way we broadcast to YouTube.
So, first meeting in September.
That's my hope, yes. So if Mr. Heckman is remote, my hope is that he will not have to have YouTube on turned down. He'll be able to log into the Zoom client. He'll be able to take part in the meeting, hear things in real time. And just like you would, speak into the microphone here, your phone will be your microphone.
In fairness, I was asked, and Aileen knows, to be involved in a test.
Yeah,
But here's my problem, and I suggested that somebody maybe else should do it. And that's not anybody's fault, but my issue. Between the various physical therapies and the tests and appointments, I could never guarantee a time. And I told Aileen, I'm going to pass on it for now.
Okay.
And let someone else who can guarantee availability do it. I mean, I think it's a good idea. I support it, but I'm not a good candidate for it
Well,
right now.
we'll make sure we get it tested and that you can use it by the September meeting. Yep. If you need to.
Madam Chairman,
Yes, sir.
can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Steve, I'm your neighbor too, and I'm being remote, so I can probably do this with you.
Well, Ken, we could do that poolside. How about it?
We can do it poolside with a drink, I don't care, but we can at least get it done, because this is really unnerving, watching you up there moving your hand and you're not even talking to me yet. So like Ron says, it isn't right. Also, the video feed that shows you, me looking at you or you, is off. Is that camera turned off now?
I don't believe so.
There used to be another little, in the corner, there was a camera pointing towards who was speaking at the mic, so
true.
we could see them.
Is that
That's
on
not
right
on
now?
right
The
now.
light's green.
You can't see here. I'll go. I will go to YouTube when I sit down and
Maybe you
check.
broke the camera.
Maybe I did. That's.
He probably did. The other thing is,
Welcome back, Ron.
to Mr. Graffredo's thing, there was 27 people watching this right now. 39 minutes in, we have 27 people online watching the county council meeting. So just to give you an idea of how many watch from remotely.
Anything else from Mr. Barron on the IT? Thank you.
That does it for me, if you don't have anything else.
Questions from Mr. McClure? Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next, we have old business. We have a public hearing of an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance Amending Northampton County Administrative Code, Article 13, Section 13.09, Competitive Negotiations." Mr. Scapora and Giovanni introduced this ordinance at the August 7th, 2025 meeting. Are there any questions or comments from the public regarding this ordinance? Hearing none, are there any discussions from council?
I'll just make the comment that I made yesterday at committee. I think the way the ordinance is written is a good boilerplate, but I would like something to at least give us our discretion to be heard if we would like to have, let's 2 or 3 on a contract that's only worth $300,000 if it's a meaningful contract. Let's say it's a wage study and, everybody finds it very meaningful that there's more ears at those procurement meetings. I'd like the council to be able to say if we would like more people to be represented.
Do you have a language that you would propose to add as an amendment?
I don't have the lawyerly skills of Solicitor Spadoni, but I can most certainly provide that to you if you want to table this for next meeting. I brought this up twice now and nobody really seemed to have much support, so if nobody would like that, and I'll just, go my way and I'll support this as is.
Excuse me. I'm choking, so I saw Mr. Brown and then Mr. Warren. Those who wish me dead are winning.
Just following up with Mr. Gafredo's comment, I think just simply extending an offer up to 3 council members to participate, strip out the dollar value range, I think kind of achieves what you're pointing to. I'm not sure why the contract values really make a difference overall. I think it's a matter of having up to 3 council members. The rest of it it kind of follows with that, depending on the interest of the council members, whether it be 1, 2, or 3. The restrictions that are placed in there of 1 vote on the committee would still hold regardless of that. So I think that would just clean that up and simplify that. The other portion I didn't quite understand, I'm just looking for clarification, is the last paragraph that was added that such council members shall be selected at a proper motion and vote 1 time per year. Is that intended that 3 would be selected annually and only those 3 would be able to participate in a particular procurement vetting? Because I wouldn't support. I think 3 members is fine. How the council president selecting and appointing, I think makes sense. But we all have different interests, and there'll be some that you would be interested in, others you may not. So I think that portion of it I find a little bit awkward, overall. So those are my comments on that.
I could address the first one, but maybe somebody else can, and then I'll get to you, is that I think that this whole section was changed because the last time this was presented originally, people were concerned that there were no qualifiers. And so that's why that section about the amounts 1, 2, 3 was added. So you would be proposing to go back to the original, or that would be suggested, but that's my memory on it. Mr. Warren?
Yeah, thank you, Madam President. I was going to say something similar to what Mr. Brown said. I don't necessarily know if the contract dollars amounts themselves actually matter in this. At the end of the day, we want the representation from county council to be part of this. So, I was going to be voting for this. If we do decide to vote on this, I was going to be voting for it, but with the caveat of, it might be good to revisit this, in the future, whether it's next year at some point, maybe 2027 at some point, whatever the case is, to see if this is working. I think this helps lay a good foundation for us with what we want to do, but I'm not necessarily sure the contract dollars actually really matter at the end of the day. I think it's going to go on a project by project or contract by contract basis. I just wanted to offer those thoughts.
Anyone else?
That being said, I'll make a motion to table this so we have the, or should we pull it off altogether and have it rewritten? Can we table it to rewrite it, or do we have to amend it here in public?
No, you could table, you could amend, you can vote, you could do
I'll make a
whatever.
Second
motion
the
to
motion to table.
And
I
made a
second.
motion to table, Mr. Gafredo, second. No further discussion, call for the vote.
Mr. Kraft?
Yes.
Mr. Gafredo?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Fargo Hefner?
Yes.
Mr. Warren?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Pecora?
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni?
Yes.
So I just have a procedural question. If amendments are made, then we would pull it off the table and then adjust it at the time? Or would we have to propose a whole new document? Okay, thank you. Next, we have, is there any other old business? I'm sorry. Hearing none. New business, the introduction of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance amending the 2025 Northampton County Budget, Community and Economic Development, Community Development Grants, Community Pass-Through Grants, Public Works, Act 13 Bridge Improvements, Capital Projects 2025 Bond Issue, Human Services Veterans Affairs, Human Services Early Intervention. I need a sponsor, please.
Sponsor, Madam President.
I need a second to sponsor. Public hearing, debate, possible vote will be held at the September 4th, 2025 meeting. Next, we have the introduction of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance leasing Northampton County-owned real property to the city of Easton, Pennsylvania. I need a sponsor for this.
I'll sponsor.
Second sponsor?
I'll second.
I'll second.
Too late. Sorry, there's that delay, Ken. Public hearing, debate, and possible vote held at September 4th, 2025 meeting. Next, we have consideration of county executives' appointments, reappointments, resolution, Drug and Alcohol Advisory Board, Mental Health, Early Intervention, and Developmental Advisory Board, and Personnel Appeals Board. Mr. Giovanni, will you introduce the resolution?
Well, Madam. Resolved by Northampton County Council that the following individuals shall be confirmed in their appointment, reappointments as indicated hereafter. Drug Alcohol Advisory Board, appointment Michael Andre, 721 Willow Drive, Catasauqua, PA, 18032, term to expire 6/30/27. Mental Health, Early Intervention and Development Programs Advisory Board, reappointment Arlene J. LaSalle Lund, 180 Wharton Lane, Bethlehem, PA, 18017, term to expire 07/22/28. Reappointment, Personal Appeals Board, Anthony Tony Prishtash, 1637 Main Street, Northampton, PA, 18067, term to expire 02/03/27.
Thank you. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Mr. Giovanni?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Kraft?
Yes.
Ms. Fargo Hefner?
Yes.
Mr. Warren?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Corpora?
Yes.
Mr. Fredo?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Next, we have consideration of Area Agency on Aging gift donations resolution. Mr. Brown, will you introduce?
Whereas Northampton County Home Rule Charter, Section 20210 provides that the county council shall have, among others, the following powers: to accept on behalf of the county any gifts of real property and to provide for the acceptance by any agency on behalf of the county of other gifts. Now therefore be it resolved that Northampton County Council authorizes the Department of Human Services Area Agency on Aging to accept the following gifts: $2,000 from the United Way of the Lehigh Valley, and $2,000 from Crayola for a luncheon and flower arrangements at the Sleep Belt Senior Center for area seniors to provide feedback on funding priorities for county seniors.
Any discussion? Call for the vote.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Kraft?
Yes.
Ms. Fargo Hefner?
Yes.
Mr. Warren?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni?
Yes.
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 Next, we have consideration of Administrative Code Article 13 contract resolutions. First is Billetier Electric Incorporated. Mr. Brown, will you introduce?
Whereas Northampton County Administrative Code, Article 13, Procurement Disposition of County Property, Section 1315, Contracts and Agreements, C1, requires approval of County Council for any contract exceeding $100,000 which was awarded using the competitive negotiation after competitive sealed bidding, and non-competitive negotiation source selection methods. For contracts with renewal clauses, the entire potential payout, if all renewal clauses are exercised under the terms of the contract, must be considered when determining if council approval is necessary. And whereas on August 12, 2025, the Northampton County Council received a request from the county executive for the county council to adopt a resolution endorsing a contract with Billetier Electric, Inc. to provide electrical construction for the Wyatt-Tuck restroom replacement and trail improvements for a term of 6 months at a total cost of $26,293. Now, therefore, it be hereby resolved that Northampton County Council does hereby concur with the recommendation of the county executive as set forth in the attached documentation to approve the contract with Billetier Electric, Inc.
Thank you. Are there any discussion?
Yeah, I just want to comment, like I always do when we get one bid contracts, that we still only get one bid proposals time and time again. Tried to do something about that, and I was told that we get lots of competitive bids. Just want to point it out, we're still only getting one bid for all these projects.
Thank you. I have a question. Is this a change order? This is just that one piece of the contract?
Yeah.
And then how long is this project? This project's been going on for a while, correct? I'm sorry, Mr. Coba. I was not on screen yesterday, so I apologize if you discussed it then.
This project's part of our Wyatt-Tuck improvements that started about 4 years ago. We have a DCNR grant in hand. Money runs out at the end of the year, and this project should be finished by then as well.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Call for the vote.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Fargo Hefner?
Yes.
Mr. Warren?
Yes.
Mr. Kapur?
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni?
Yes.
Mr. Gafredo?
Yes.
Mr. Heckman?
Yes.
Ms. Keegan?
Yes.
Ms. Kraft? Or Mr. Kraft?
Yes. Yes.
Adopted by a vote of 9 to 0.
Thank you. Next, we have Master Mechanical Corporation. Mr. Brown, will you introduce?
Whereas on August 12, 2025, Northampton County Council received a request from the county executive or county council to adopt a resolution endorsing a contract with Master Mechanical Corporation to provide plumbing construction for the Wyatt-Tuck restroom replacement and trailer improvements for a term of 6 months at a total cost of $92,524. Now, therefore, it is hereby resolved that the Northampton County Council does hereby concur with the recommendations of the county executive as set forth in the attached documentation to approve the contract with Master Mechanical Corporation.
Any discussion? Call for the vote.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Warren?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni?
Yes.
Mr. Gafredo?
Yes.
Mr. Heckman?
Yes.
Ms. Keegan? Yes. Mr. Kraft?
Yes.
Ms. Fargo Hefner?
Yes.
Adopted by a vote of 9 to 0.
Okay. Is there any other new business items? Any council committee reports? Mr. Brown?
Finance Committee met yesterday. We heard a presentation from the independent auditor, Mara Dussel. The Controller's Office presented half a dozen audit reports. We reviewed the contracts and the ordinances that were introduced or voted on this evening.
Thank you. Ms. Keegan?
We had an Energy, Environment, and Land Use Committee meeting today, and we had a great presentation from Northampton County 4-H on programming and opportunities.
Thank you. Any other? Mr. Giovanni?
There was a Personnel Committee meeting. Of course, Mr. Kapoor ran it. I got back late from CCAP, but we appointed and reappointed the executive positions.
Thank you. Are there any liaison reports? Few of us went to do you have something before CCAP? No. Go ahead. Few of us went to CCAP, so I was going to ask for those of us that went, if they had any reports they wanted to give. Go ahead, Mr. Moore.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Jeff.
Thank you, Madam President. I sit on the Technology Steering Committee at CCAP, and the one thing that really came to light is how cybersecurity, AI, and GIS are very much correlated into one. And I think as counties across Pennsylvania begin to really understand this more, because there's not much understanding of this subject matter when it comes to the federal government, state government, and certainly our local governments, something we're going to need to engage in more so down the road. It's going to be very important, very critical. We did pass, when I say we, I mean CCAP in general, the membership that was voting out there passed a resolution. It was called Resolution Number 2 with regard to cybersecurity funding and statewide governance structure. That's going to be sent, of course, to the state. I'm not going to go through every single thing with regard to the Technology Steering Committee, but the work plan that we are embarking on and will continue to embark on deals with broadband development in unserved and underserved areas to ensure equity and accessibility to broadband and internet services to every premise of the Commonwealth, long-term cybersecurity funding for Pennsylvania counties. More and more, we are seeing hackers who are hacking into local governments, county governments, holding up programs and software for ransom, $500,000 to well over $1 million before these type of hackers are satisfied, get their money, and then information is released back to the public. This is really becoming an issue and something I think we're going to need to talk about more in the future, because what was really talked about in this committee was that it's going to cost more over the years if we don't engage more with cybersecurity right now at this particular time. Another aspect of the work plan is going to be long-term stability and support for a statewide election solution and the timing of a new system implementation. This specifically deals with the Pennsylvania Department of State, how they're developing an updated shore modernization timeline and communication system, and also the education on the use and availability of AI for PA counties. This is something that I have been working with the administration on already at this point, and I think that hopefully within the very near future, we're going to be able to roll something out that provides us some guidelines here in Northampton County with regard to AI. But this stuff is not just here, folks. I mean, it is part of our daily lives, and we need to protect ourselves in the future. So I don't want to get into the the very fine nitty-gritty details of everything. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. And if they are interested in learning more about what the Technology Committee is doing, I'll certainly talk to you about it. So thank you, Madam President.
Anyone else who was there want to give a report? Mr. Giovanni?
I'm at CCAP on the Economic Development Committee, and I attended the breakout for resolution and policies. And on the resolution policies breakout, there was resolutions submitted by Energy, Environment, and Land Use, and also with Economic Development. And that was that the association acknowledges the extraordinary increase in demand for electric, strongly encourage the administration to recognize and support development of increased supply through statewide guidance, grants, and other incentives. However, the association opposes any state action that supersedes local land use decisions-making authority. And what this was brought up for was, the big topic is data centers are coming into the counties across Pennsylvania. And people are, a lot of their questions are about what's the electric draw and how are we gonna do that, and who's going to make the final decisions? Is it going to be the counties? Is it going to be municipalities? Or is the state going to control it? And that was a resolution for that. The other thing that was interesting in economic development was they brought up about hospitals closing, the ones that are closing, and how to attack that or help with that with hospitals closing. In so many upper counties like Union and Wyoming counties, they have some of their hospitals are closing, and they have to drive for hours to get to a hospital. They deliver babies on a way to the hospital. It's just really frightening. But they were talking about that. The other thing that I thought was very interesting, Wyoming County wanted to put forth a resolution for counties to create an EMS tax. Of course, that got voted down because of the responsibility and litigation that would happen to counties. They thought that the municipalities should try to do that if they want an EMS tax to provide. That again was their EMS people can't get people, or they're closing up, so they wanted to do something to help the EMS. And I think that's all I had. I believe that's it. For CCAP, I believe that was it.
I have something I'd like to add.
Can I finish mine and then?
Oh, you certainly can. Heaven
Wait,
forbid.
well, I have a bunch. I attended the Human Services and Courts and Corrections Committees. The topic is always the same, the funding and how the different cuts. The biggest issue at the time is what's happening with the state budget, how the state budget non-funding right now or not having a budget is impacting both of those areas. And there's a lot of intersection with both of those committees. So that was the biggest item. Most of the resolutions that we had put forward were passed. I was at the board meeting. The board met on Sunday morning, and we voted to draft and send a letter to the governor, the House, and the Senate regarding the budget impasse. And we're asking all counties to also send their own letters as well as create resolutions regarding that. I'd hoped to have a template ready for you this evening, but I thought I'd take a little time and make sure the language was correct, but I will propose that in September. But I think that the organization is trying to take a stronger stand that we don't get to take a vacation from balancing our budget. Other people don't get to do that. Everybody else is at the table, and they're not taking a vacation right now. So we need them to come back, and we need them to pass the budget before it affects us in any other great numbers. Trying to think. There was a full breakout session regarding that hospital and healthcare issues situation, and it was phenomenal, and I think they're going to expand that, and they're also going to have an ad hoc task force. They talked about the closures in Delaware County. They talked about the maternal health desert up in Elk County, in Sullivan County. These private providers go into some of these rural areas, and then they just shut down, and then there's no health care left. And while I feel blessed that we have that here, I would say that we should never say never, because look at the Crozier system and what happened. And so I thought that was valuable and utterly depressing as well, that in this day and age you have to have a baby on a kitchen table. It's horrible. There was another workshop on AI at the very end that was in the general session about generative AI and how you could train employees and what you should be doing versus not be doing, and to be very cautious about what kind of models that you're using. So I defer to your expertise and anybody else who's way younger than me and knows what they're doing. But the key thing was the budget impasse. That was the conversation everywhere. It was an excellent meeting, and I appreciate everybody that went and supported the votes. And Mr. Heckman, and then Mr. Giovanni.
Did anyone go, or did they address the intergovernmental transfer? I mean, there's still a few counties that have homes, and I wonder if anybody's
It
brought
was
up
not
at
brought
all.
up at Human Services. Sorry.
Okay, because in line with that, I mean, I think it's, I don't know if it's Berks or Chester, I have to go back, my mind, it slips my mind sometimes, but a company that has a lot of them has declared bankruptcy, privates. And I don't know what they're gonna do with the folks, I don't know if they're just gonna restructure, but what, so I just was curious about that. And so, all right, and my sources, Montgomery County, tell me that you were reappointed as the head of the district. Congratulations. And there was something about an award of something. I don't know. I wasn't there, but I said, well.
She got the President's Award for the most work she does with CCAP and the District 6. So she got the President's Award.
Thanks.
Good
and I
for
wanted,
you.
And I want to bring up one more thing on, I forget, was it on the hospitality or something? That they had, some counties had hotel tax on campgrounds. We thought that was very interesting.
A lot of information. Stay tuned. If you want to get on a committee for next year, I think October is when they're going to send out the asks, so please sign up if you want to be on a, and I think work groups will be meeting in the fall to present those items for the November meeting, which will be at Hershey Hotel. Any other items for business? Council Clerk report?
You don't mind? I wanted to mention something. It wasn't about CCAP, but it's about an issue that we specifically have been talking about over the past 2 years since I've been on this council with regard to manufactured homes. We passed a couple of resolutions. There was an article in Penn Live this past week that was titled "Pennsylvania Manufactured Homes Homeowners Struggle with Soaring Lot Rent as Bills Await Action in Capital." And if council doesn't mind just indulging me for a minute, I just want to read part of this so that we can continue to understand the severity of what is happening with this issue, not just in Pennsylvania, but what is going to inevitably happen here in Northampton County. The manufactured home in Mount Pleasant, Westmoreland County, was 1,900 square feet and affordable and completely accessible for her husband's wheelchair, said owner Mary Sue Callahan. She loved it. Then, after a new owner purchased the community near Mount Pleasant, where her home had been placed, increases in the monthly lot rent she pays for her spot in the community became much more steep. Now she pays $540 a month in lot rent, 46% higher than the monthly $370. Mrs. Callahan, who is 66 and whose husband died in 2020 of complications from multiple sclerosis, said a life insurance payment helped her finances, but neighbors on fixed incomes are struggling. It is a difference between paying for medication or putting food on the table versus paying your lot payment, Mrs. Callahan said. Outside of Philadelphia, residents of the village of Willow Run, a 55-plus community with manufactured homes, received notices late July of this year of a roughly $300 a month lot rent increase. Large corporations and private equity firms have been buying up manufactured home communities in the Commonwealth, leading to residents complaining of these drastic increases in lot rents. I wanted to read this and bring this up again. One, to thank the council for voting in favor of the resolution that we had put forth that was inevitably sent to our state legislators, hoping they would support this. But this is coming. This is coming to Northampton County. There are going to be private equity firms who are going to be buying up these homes because it is easy money for them. Buying up these communities, I should say, because it is easy money for them. So this is something that I want to continue to keep on our radar well into the future, and I hope that we will be able to support folks who live in these communities in any way, shape, or form that we can. This is about raising awareness as well. So I thank you for your indulgence.
Sure, thank you. And interestingly enough, it's the private equity firms that bought these healthcare facilities.
Exactly.
And it's the
Yes.
same phenomenon. So part of why they stated that this is occurring is that Pennsylvania is one of the few states, I think there's a handful, that doesn't have very solid laws that protect this from happening. So these corporations look for states like us, opportunities like this, and then they
For a
can just
hotbed.
go away.
Yes.
So they also suggested at the healthcare one that we do reach out to the Attorney General's office. And I think there are some proposals about how to make this more stringent in our state. But if it's affecting everybody.
And the really uneasy feeling about it is a lot of these private equities aren't American people at all. So there's people that are foreigners that are buying up assets in this country out from underneath of us. They're owning properties, they're owning hospitals, they're owning real estate, which is crazy. So I'm with you on that. I would hate to see this continue to get out of hand because it seems like the people that are supposed to be watching don't even know what's happening, or at least have no real regulation to prevent it from happening.
Mr. Giovanni?
I just want to tell Mr. Warren, that bill did pass in the House. It's in the Senate now. Yeah, that's where it's at.
And then the last thing I forgot to say too is we did have a pretty robust discussion on immigration in our District 6 meeting, and we were able to have an attorney present to discuss the nuances of that and the responsibilities for counties. Two of the things that they brought up were constables and watching, because some constables may be signing on with ICE independently to try to take people at the courthouse, as well as there's a case in one county where there's a sheriff who is independently elected who has signed on to do that. So there's just a lot of questions about that. So we could speak further or at a meeting in the future regarding that. Last but not least, Mr. Solicitor, do you have a report? No. Can I have a motion to adjourn? I'll make the motion. All in favor?